So the dictionary is one of those applications that doesn't really get much love. And I've been looking at it, watching a few things on the internet, and there's actually so much that it can do that it's one of those wonderful tools that if you know some of the nuances to it, it really can add a lot of value of how you use your computer or how you use your Mac. I'm going to start from first principles. You know, we can use the dictionary inside our applications, but if you want to use a dictionary to look up definitions and so on, we have a dictionary application. Now, one of the challenges of that is we need to know how to spell the word. Now, some of you may have seen this before in some of our earlier workshops, but if I don't know how to spell a word, I'm going to have a bit of trouble looking it up in a dictionary. So the first thing we can do is we can use Siri to help us spell words. So if I click on Siri, spell bureau.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, this has happened before. The audio is being intercepted by Zoom, but Siri will pick it up and it will spell the word for me, and it will open up a mini dictionary on the right-hand side. Now, the problem with that is that it's not linked to your dictionary, so you still have to go back in and type in the definition or type in the word that you want to define. So the next step is we can use Spotlight. I'm going to use quite a few keyboard commands today, and I've got a little app that's going to put my keyboard shortcuts on the screen. So if I type Command Space, I get my Spotlight search up. So if I type bureau, I now know how to spell it because Siri told me that, at least it did when I was prepping. So you can see over here, I've got a definition, bureau. And if I click on that, it gives me a definition of the word. But if it's a word that might be occurring quite often on my computer, this definition might be pushed further down and I might miss it. So if I really wanted to tell me what the word is, I type define and then I type the word. And then now, because I've prepped for my workshop, the define bureau is actually one of the phrases inside my pages document, but it should appear right at the top. So let's go back to bureau, go back to the definition. Now, if I want to open up the dictionary, I can just double click on the word or hit return, and it opens up my dictionary in the spot where I want this word to be defined. So that's the quick way of getting to my dictionary using Spotlight. Often might have the word that I want and I'm fine with that and I can stop. The other way is now I'm going to quit the dictionary and I'm going to use Spotlight to launch the dictionary. Type dictionary. I could put it in my dock. I could go to my applications folder. And this is the dictionary app. So I have a little search bar over here. So if I type in a word, it'll do a definition for me. It takes me to the definition of that word. If I wanted another word, so it says, okay, epitome, it's elegance. Oh, I want to find the word elegance, so I can delete that and type elegance, and it searches for that word elegance. Now, the thing is, though, is if you saw me move my cursor around these words, you'll see that every single word is a hyperlink. So if I want to look up the word grace, I just click on grace and it takes me to that word. So each word that I have inside here is a hyperlink that I can jump to. I don't have to keep on typing. So let's see, we had grace. Let's go to the word good. I can jump through there. It finds the words I want to. It gives me the definition, the adjective and adjective. All of us who've looked at dictionaries, we know that there's a variety of different forms that words may take, and this is a particularly long one. So there's the adjective, there's the noun, there's adverb, phrases that it might be used in. Now, as well as the dictionary definitions, we have a thesaurus. And if I click on thesaurus, it gives me similes of that word and sometimes antonyms as well. I happen to have chosen a very, very long word that has a lot of definitions. But the key thing here is it doesn't lose my search words. So I can jump between my dictionary and my thesaurus and not necessarily lose the definition. So no thesaurus for hunky dory. Let's click on the word well. If I go to thesaurus, I'm still on the word well, and it's giving me synonyms for the word. So those are the main functions that I could use from a dictionary to find out what the meaning of words are. But you notice that there's actually a couple of additional dictionaries over here. There's an Apple dictionary, and there's also Wikipedia. Now, these are all set up by default. Now, sometimes we use terms that you might not be familiar with. So, for example, one of the sessions that we're going to be running next month is mission control, which is one of your ways of managing your navigation. If I type mission inside my dictionary, you can see mission control over there, but there's all sorts of additional bits of mission. But if I went to Apple, mission control, it tells us a feature of the Mac. Mission control is a feature that lets us see everything open on your Mac, including Windows full screen apps in split view and workspaces. If you've heard us talk about something called Sidecar before, is a little tool that we've got that lets you use your iPad as a second display on your Mac, which is really useful if you're in a coffee shop and you've got two devices and all of a sudden you need some more screen real estate. In addition, we have Wikipedia. So if I was to use, here we've got Sidecar. This is everywhere where Sidecar is appearing inside Wikipedia. Sidecar file. I have no idea what some of these guys are. Oh, okay, Sidecar Kisses, something to do with a band called The Joy Formidable. But if there's some terms that I'm not familiar with, so if I type, let's say LAN, you might often hear us talking about LANs, local area networks. So now I've got full access to all the entries that are inside Wikipedia, which is hugely useful. Now, we're not limited to the dictionaries that appear over here with the defaults. There are many additional dictionaries that are actually built into the Mac. So if I go to my dictionary and I choose preferences, you'll see that I've got Oxford Dictionary of English, British English, the thesaurus, the Apple Dictionary, and the Wikipedia. And whether you've got English, British English, or American English is determined by the original setup. When you set your Mac up for the first time, you set your region, and you set your language, it will choose the appropriate dictionary. So the order that these guys appear in can be controlled by the order that we have here. So if we wanted Wikipedia to appear before Apple Dictionary, for example, I could just click that up and you can see that Wikipedia and Apple have changed places. So I can organize this pretty nicely the way I wanted to. You can see if I click on the entry over here, there's a copyright, when it was last updated and so on, similarly over there. Now, let's say I wanted to add a dictionary, and you'll see a lot of these dictionaries might be translation dictionaries. So if I choose Oxford German Dictionary from German to English and click on here, you'll see that the German to English dictionary appears. So if I click on the German dictionary and I type Leute, it's a noun, people. It's also informal, guys, people, folks, and so on. So I can, if I see a word that I don't know in a foreign language, I can type it in here and get the definition. You can see there's Hebrew, there's Hindi, there's quite a lot of dictionaries, and we'll come back to this. We've got Portuguese to English, Turkish, Vietnamese, Thai, lots of dictionaries that we can add to our list of resources that we can access. Now, watch what happens when I click on Wikipedia. Wikipedia opens up at the bottom, and it also gives us the ability to add languages or add the Wikipedia specific sites that it searches. So if I go to other languages, what's first on top of the list? Afrikaans. So if I click on Afrikaans and I go to Wikipedia, well, if I typed vetkoek, it gives me a definition, but this is all in English because probably the definition for vetkoek is in the English Wikipedia. But if I type something like hond in Wikipedia, not Honda, hond, give me my hond. You worked for me earlier this morning. Don't be mean to me. Let's see, Afrikaans. Let me close the settings, quit and reopen it. Dictionary, Wikipedia, let's type in hond. There we go. It needed a relaunch. So there we go. We have it searched the Afrikaans portion. So if you're a native speaking Afrikaner, and you want to access the Afrikaans component of Wikipedia from inside your dictionary, here you are. You've got it all set up ready for you. Of course, you could search all the dictionaries as well. So, here we were searching the English dictionary, the English thesaurus, Wikipedia, English and Afrikaans, and the Apple menu. But if I clicked all, it will search all of those definitions, all those dictionaries, and give me returns on every entry that it finds inside all of the dictionaries. Okay. So let's have a look at the interface and a bit of navigation. We can adjust the font size by clicking the plus sign over here, very much like a web browser. We can navigate backwards and forwards, and this works just like a web browser. Take me back through all the previous ones that I've searched, and I can go forward and jump backwards and forwards, just as if I was backtracking on a web browser. Now, at the moment, we're only working in a new window, in a single window. What if I want to compare two things side by side? Well, if I say double click on this word and right click on it, I can look it up in a new tab. So if I click look up new tab, I now have two tabs, and it's looking up the word manufactured. And I now have my previous tab, which was the Honda article. Let's go back to Honda over here. We're still in manufactured. Now that we've opened up a new tab, we have, just like in Safari browser, I can click plus, and now I can do another search. Inside there, I now have three tabs. But you probably noticed as well that if I right-clicked on something, I could not only open it in a new tab, I can open it up in a new window. So now I have three tabs in my left side, and I have one window, and I could open something up again in a new tab over here. So my dictionary is multifaceted. Think of it as a web browser with multiple tabs. I can rearrange these tabs. I can drag this around to the left. I can drag it to the right. And if you have experimented with this in your Safari browser or in any app for that matter, which supports tabs, if I go to my window menu, one of the things I can do is merge all windows. If I choose that, I now get a single window with every single tab held into one. So very, very powerful, not just single use, one trick pony, open up one thing at a time and view it. We've got quite a way of opening up many different things. A shortcut as well, by the way, if you wanted to quickly open something up in a tab, you don't have to right click on it. You hold the command key down and click on it, and it opens up that word in a new tab automatically. Okay, let's close these guys up, and I'm going to do a new word. I'm going to take innovative. Now, one of the things that we've got here is the phonetic pronunciation of the word, but this is usually Greek to me. I'm really not quite sure how to read these. There are some hints I can show you a little bit later about doing, but I want to know how to pronounce this word. So if I right click on it and choose speech and choose start speaking.
Innovative.
Okay, so that's the way the Scots might pronounce that. Now, pronunciation is often specific to the country that you are dealing with. So if I go to my system preferences, I'm going to move this side by side and go to accessibility, speech, and you can see here my speaking voices. So previously that was Fiona.
Hello, my name is Fiona. I am a Scottish English voice.
Right. So if I was to take, let's say, for example, Alex, who is American, and select innovative and choose speech.
Innovative.
Okay. All these guys like innovative. But now let's take an English voice. Let's take Daniel.
Innovative.
Okay, I like that. Let's go to Tessa, who's South African.
Innovative.
So we have the ability to get the pronunciation for words just by using the text-to-speech, and often we can get different versions of that based on the voices that we've selected in the speech menu. Okay, so we've been working inside the dictionary. What if we want to get definitions of words without coming into the dictionary? We're not talking about a spell checker here. We want to look at how to get a definition from a word. So I'm going to close up the dictionary. I'm going to switch to my web browser. And here I've got a page with a number of words. So let's have a look at the word creative. If I double click on this word to highlight it and right click it, I can look it up. And I get the dictionary definition popping up. Now, you notice over here that I've also got the Wikipedia entry, so I can scroll across. I've got Siri suggestions. I've got the Siri knowledge base. So it's not just the primary dictionary that we've got access to. And I can also just click open in dictionary, and it opens up my dictionary with that particular word, and it gives me the definition of the word that I'm looking for. Another way of doing this is if I have the cursor hovering above a word, if I hold the keyboard Command, Control, and tap D, it does a definition of whatever word the insert bar is hovering over. So if I go to assignment over here, I don't even have to select it, Command, Control, D, it gives me the definition of the word assignment. So that's two ways that we can open up definitions of words inside a web browser, inside a word processing document, without actually having to have the dictionary open. Another way of doing this, let's take the word accessible, is there is always a menu in every application menu called services. So whether you're in Mail, whether you're in Safari, whether you're in Microsoft Word, there will always be a services menu. And there is an underlying architecture of the Mac which allows different applications to provide services to other applications. And one of the services that's built in is to look it up in the dictionary. So if I select this, the word that I highlighted, accessible, will be opened up in the dictionary. Now, one of the things that one can do is if you go back and we have a look at services, you'll see some of these guys have got keyboard shortcuts and some of them don't, and dictionary doesn't. So if you like the idea that you can not just hold Command Control D and open up a dictionary and a pop-up inside your application, but you actually want to open up the whole dictionary, we can customize that. So I'm going to open up my system preferences one more time. I'm going to go to keyboard, and I'm going to go to shortcuts, and here you see services. And all of the items that you saw inside that services menu, right? It's dynamic, it changes depending on what application you're in. If I go down to searching, you'll see look up in dictionary has no keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to click on that, click add shortcut, and I'm going to make it Command Option Control D. Like that, Command Option Control D. Fine. So I'm going to close that up. And now let's take another word, physical. I'm going to hold Command Option Control D down, and it opens up the dictionary with that word highlighted. So a number of ways of accessing it. The final way is if you have a trackpad, if you force click on a word. So let's say we'll take improve. If I press and deep press on the word, it pops up the dictionary as well. So from the trackpad on your MacBook, if you have a magic trackpad for your Mac, you can do a force click, and that will bring up the dictionary definition immediately as well. Okay, so what else can you do? If I go back to my dictionary and choose the English dictionary, those of you who remember the old ink and printed dictionaries will know that there's other info as well as the word definitions. There's information on the back, information in the front. I know the American ones often have all the presidents, all the states, and so on. If I click on the Go menu over here, you'll see there's an option that says front and back matter. And here we have the Oxford Dictionary of English, 3rd edition, who the editorial staff, the preface, introduction, how to use this dictionary. So we literally have a facsimile or a replica of what one would see inside the original printed dictionary. There's an introduction to the Oxford Dictionary. And this will very much depend what you have selected over here. You might go there and find that grayed out. Okay, one other thing that we can do, this is really the last item on the agenda, is as you saw with the preferences, there are many dictionaries, but the dictionary format that these files use are a standard. They're called a .dict file, a .dict file, and there are a number of these dictionary files out there. So you might, if you work in a particular discipline, maybe it's a medical field and you want definitions of certain words or technical things, or just foreign languages that you want to get translated for you, you can actually add them to this dictionary. Now, not all of them work, but many of them do. And I did some research earlier, and if I go back to my web browser, this particular website over here, Class QM, this chap has made it his mission to take a whole bunch of dictionaries and add them to the Apple Dictionary in a format that is compatible. So if we look at African languages, for example, there's Afrikaans, but Afrikaans, well, we can add that one. There's Kabyle, there's Swahili. And if you click on these, you'll see that there is a Kiswahili to Danish, Kiswahili to English, second one to English, it looks like it's slightly smaller, to Svensk, and then back the other way. So to save time, I downloaded a couple of these earlier. And well, I didn't do the Afrikaans. Let's take English to Afrikaans. I'll download that one. And I'll download Afrikaans to English. And if I bring these up in my downloads folder, Afrikaans, Afrikaans to English, I'll just drag them out onto the desktop over here and neaten things up. And you'll see I have these little plugins, English to Swahili, quick Swahili to English, English to Afrikaans, Afrikaans to English. Now, the way I access these is if I go to the File menu, I choose Open Dictionaries folder, and there is a folder on my hard drive, which is in my home folder, Library Dictionaries, but you don't need to remember it because it actually opens it and takes you straight there. I'm going to take these 4 dictionaries and I'm going to drag them into the dictionaries folder over there. Now, in order to activate them, we have to quit. So I'm going to launch dictionaries again. And if we go to preferences and we scroll to the bottom, if everything's worked fine, there we go. English, Afrikaans, Swahili to English, English to Swahili, Afrikaans to English. Well, let's group the English to Afrikaans together. Okay, so now we've got a bunch more languages in here. So let's go English to Kiswahili. So if I want to know what the Swahili word for dog is, it's mbwa, cat, paka. If I want to know what jumbo means, I can go Swahili to English, type in jumbo. It means affair, business, business deal, case matter. So I now have a whole bunch more dictionaries at my disposal. And let's try Afrikaans to English. Dog. And obviously it's using everything that has the root hond, honderd, and so on. And we can do the same. Go English to Afrikaans. Let's go dog. Hond. So very much a file for doing translation or definitions of words. This is not your spell checker inside your applications. We can go into them in further detail later, but we don't really have time for that and this. So really, that's my presentation on dictionaries. I hope you found it useful, and I'm going to throw it open to questions.
I've got a question, Alan.
Yeah, Bernard.
What happens if you're offline and you don't have any internet access?
Well, if you've downloaded them already, they're local on your computer.
Okay.
So it's not looking it up from the web. You've downloaded a dictionary file and you've installed it onto your machine. So you don't need internet access to access your dictionaries once they're installed.
Okay, so the Wikipedia and the Apple dictionaries are all there already?
The Wikipedia is probably looking up Wikipedia online, but the Apple Dictionary is in there.
Yes, I did. No, I must say that's really, I'm just constantly overwhelmed by what is available. It really is just such an eye-opener, these things. I had no idea that they're so powerful. Just a quick question, though, on that. So I like the idea of downloading the dictionary. So I could actually just download it. It would store it, and I don't have to go on. I can be offline. So if I'm on holiday somewhere, I don't have to worry about being online.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I do is check that they worked before I went away. And,
Yes.
you know, if you're waiting for iPad OS, if you've got an iPhone 14, that's going to have a built-in translate feature. So it'll be able to translate between, I think, a dozen languages. I'm not sure exactly the number. So this is getting easier and easier for people to travel the world and communicate to people without necessarily having to.
Thank you. And then to access it, you say there's an Apple dictionary. I didn't even know that. There's an Apple dictionary.
That's built in.
That's built
That's
in.
built in. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you open up the dictionary file, you'll see those 5 tabs at the top.
Right.
All dictionary, thesaurus, Apple, Wikipedia. Those are standard.
Okay.
And then the additional ones were ones I downloaded. And if you chaps are interested, what I'll do is I'll put the link to that guy's website in the copy of the recording. So you know you can play with it as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Excellent.
Sure. But we look forward to going onwards and upwards with you folks. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday for our next session.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ellen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks all.
I enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks, Ellen. Well done.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Ciao, Angelo.
Thanks very much.
Bye.